answers to the clarificatory questions propounded to witnesses Pantunal, the notary public, Ramil Madriaga, the PSA, the ICFAO of COA, the head of the Legislative Archives of the House of Representatives, and ultimately from Attorney Michael Poa, and also the NBI. So you will notice that the clarificatory questions mostly pertain to the allegations of confidential fund. And we limited the questions to merely clarificatory. Again, that is to maintain the position that this is just a clarificatory hearing and we are not holding a trial. That would be all for the opening statement.
Hi po, good evening. Red Mendoza from the Manila Times. May lumabas po kasi ngayong kakalabas lang na isang statement kasi Madriaga claimed in the number 45 of his affidavit na he gave a painting to Vice President Sara Duterte galing sa isang scholar. Ngayon, may lumabas coming from Tanya Gaisanoli, a noted Visayas Mindanao artist who claimed that the painting was hers, hindi galing kay Madriaga. So, ano pong masasabi niyo po dito na apparently itong painting na sinasabi ni Madriaga sa affidavit ay hindi pala galing sa scholar niya, as he claimed in his affidavit, but came from a known visual artist from Davao, and she has the proof of it. So, what can you say about it po?
I think that question is best asked of Mr. Madriaga, firstly, or second, of Attorney Palad, yung pong abogado ni Mr. Madriaga. Kasi it is they that submitted the affidavit. So we will consider all of statements, all of the parts of the affidavit of Mr. Madriaga. We'd have to look at it with a grain of salt, no? So wala naman ho kaming tinatanggap ng buong buo, wala din ho kaming itinatabi na buong buo, no? So we will see po in the next couple of days kung ano pa ho yung ibang mga bahagi. But that particular question is better asked of Mr. Madriaga and the lawyer of Mr. Madriaga.
Nasa lang on my end. Kasi if that line dun sa affidavit niya maaring mali or false, do you think po ba babagsak po ba yung testimony ni Madriaga because of that? Kasi parang baka malaglag yung testimony niya kasi if the painter said na hindi sa kanya yung painting, na hindi si Madriaga gumawa ng painting na yon, of course there could be questions on the other lines of his testimony.
Tingin ko hindi naman po malalaglag yun kasi una, the question on the painting is irrelevant to the questions relating to the impeachment. Kaya nga, halimbawa, as far as some of the members are concerned, nakatutok lang ho sila alin ba doon sa affidavit niya yung may actual na epekto doon po sa impeachable offenses na pinag-usapan, betrayal of public trust, culpable of violation of the Constitution, among others. So, kung hindi ho siya related doon, as far as other members are concerned, parang extraneous na ho yun on the determination nito pong katotohanan o hindi katotohanan ng mga sinasabi po niya.
Sir, good evening. Good evening po. Ma'am, Lianes Kapandi, GMA News Online. Ma'am, yung sa COA lang, notice of disallowance was issued covering 375 million for 2023 confidential fund expenses of the OVP on top of the 73 million ND that was upheld. Would that be correct po?
That is correct in as far as the statement of Attorney Camora is concerned. But you've heard us. We will be waiting for the submission of the official copy of both the decision denying the appeal and the notices of disallowance. We haven't received official copy of these documents.
Ma'am, given na lahat nung entire releases, bale may notice of disallowance, is that yung 4 na notice of disallowance ba from COA, would you say corroborates what Madriaga said about money being disbursed huge amount of money being disbursed in a day or in 11 days?
Well, I think the notices of disallowance pertains to non-compliance to the joint circular. And this is separate to the testimony of Ramil Madriaga with respect to the actual delivery of the duffel bags containing 30 to 35 million each, no? Pag sinabi nating notice of disallowance, the consequence or the effect of this is that the DepEd or the OVP failed to comply with the joint circular pertaining to the utilization of confidential fund.
Ma'am, to think na, di ba every quarter yung releases? So given na 4 yung ND, every quarter na nag-release, may ND. What does it say about how the OVP uses its confidential funds?
Well, the only thing I can say is that the COA maintains the position that they violated the joint circular. No more, no less. That's all it says.
Sir, baka may dadagdag si Sir. Kong Chua po and Kong Terry. What does it say? I mean, is it, kasi lahat po per quarter, lahat may ND. So what does it say about the Vice
Actually,
President?
3 quarters lang yan for 2023. First, second, and third. And that pertains to the confidential fund of the OVP. The one that pertains to the 4th quarter of 2022, that is a denial of the appeal to the notice of disallowance.
Can I follow up po? Sorry. Marian from TV5. In-affirm po, so ibig sabihin final po na may notice of disallowance, 73.2 million pesos, kailangan ibalik ng OVP, final na po ito. Gaano kabigat po itong ebidensyang ito, lalo na doon sa one of the allegations, plunder po, 50 million pesos yung kailangan, yung mag-reach.
Well, mabigat ho yun kasi yung po nga depensa nila na wala pa ng mga pagsasara. Dito po sa usapin na ito dahil ND pa lang. Yung 2022 confidential funds issue, wala na ho yun. Basically, that is demolished. Kasi nga, may finality na po yung commission proper on the question. So, malaya sila, of course, to go to the Supreme Court, pero like what had been previously stated, there is already an obligation to return the money. Ang nakatali na po ron, si Ms. Acosta, yung Chief Accountant, at si Vice President Sara Duterte. So, the 3 of them will have to return that amount to government.
But sir, yun yung po yung allegation nga na mali yung pinagamitan ng pondo, maaaring may malversation, plunder. What can we say about this na gaano kalaki pong kumbagang ebidensya nga po ito para doon particularly?
Ganito lang po yan. Nag-i-issue po ng audit observation memo muna pagka may problema yung paggamit sa pondo. May problema o mali yung paggamit o walang mga kulang-kulang sa dokumento. So pagkatapos po niyan, pag hindi mo pa rin ma-justify, bibigyan ka ng notice of disallowance. So, sa notice of disallowance, kailangan may paliwanag mo pa rin. Pag hindi mo pa rin may paliwanag sa notice of disallowance, bago lalabas yung final, yung kaninang binabanggit po ng COA. So, ibig sabihin po niyan, it's either mali yung paggamit, hindi na-justify, o hindi talaga, may mali talaga dun sa... Kasi lahat naman ng pondo, may mga kanya-kanyang menu. So, ibig sabihin yan, pag sinabi mo menu, ito lang yung bounds kung saan mo dapat gamitin itong pondo. Halimbawa, ang confidential fund, dapat ito lang yung mga dapat mong gamitin. So kaya kanilalabasan ng mga ganyan ng COA, ibig sabihin, mali yung paggamit mo or hindi akma dun sa binibigay na parameters. So yun po lang lumabas dyan. Ibig sabihin, hindi po nila na-justify. Nung binigyan po sila ng AOM, binigyan sila ng notice of disallowance, lahat po yan, hindi nila justify, kaya lahat, yung appeal po nila ay hindi po napagbigyan.
Sige po, siguro i-follow up na lang namin yung sa ombudsman. Pero Kong Ridon, we would like to ask sana, kasi initially you said na ibibigay niyo po yung bloodbath kay VP Sara ngayong araw na ito. Una, naibigay niyo po ba, tingin niyo yung bloodbath? Ano po yung asahan natin sa April 22? I understand you also subpoenaed former Senator Antonio Trillanes and the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Gaano kalaki po ba yung pagdinig sa susunod pong next week, April 22?
Well, tingin ko, talaga pong binitbit ho ng pagdinig po na ito, yung laban, ngayong araw na ito, dahil marami pong mga nailahad sa bayan ngayong pong araw na ito. No? So, yung pong testimonya ni Mr. Madriaga, so iba't iba ho yung facets, nung kanya pong testimonya, but specific to the impeachment, yung sinasabi niya yung delivery of duffel bags, mula po sa confidential funds sa pamamagitan po ng mga delivery sa iba't ibang mga lokasyon. Pangalawa, yung pong NBI, anong sabi ho nila? Ang kanilang pagtingin, iilan lang po yung mga taong pumirma dito po sa mga pangalan sa confidential funds po na ito, katulad ni Milky Secuya, Mary Grace Piatos, at iba pa. Pangatlo, yung pong PSA. Mahalaga po yung testimonya ho nila dahil sinabi ho talaga nila na hindi ho totoong tao si Mary Grace Piatos at iba pang mga karakter dito po sa confidential funds acknowledgement receipts. Hindi ho sila pinanganak, hindi ho sila kinasal, hindi ho sila namatay. So, mabibigat pong mga testimonya po ito, na tingin ko ngayon ho nabigyan ng aktual na pagpapatotoo sa proseso po ng impeachment. Nabanggit na ko kanina, yung pong susunod pong pagdinig. Tama po kayo, bahagi po ng pagdinig yung pagtalakay na po sa unexplained wealth at SALN issues. So, mababanggit po sa susunod po pagdinig yung SALN ng atin po Pangalawang Pangulo, yung kanilang ITR submissions, yung pong kanilang mga bank transactions. Kung may makita ho yung AMLC at syempre panghuli kung ano ho yung mga babanggitin pong mga detalye ni former Senator Sara Trillanes.
Last na lang po. Meron pong statement yung isa sa mga abogado ni VP Sara, si Attorney Paulo Panelo. Tinawag po nila nga na fraud o manloloko daw. Etong si Madriaga, hindi naman daw po na ipakita din yung mga ebidensya na namigay nga actually daw ng pera si VP Sara, kaya weakest link pa rin daw siya.
Yung test of credibility ni Madriaga, yan masusubukan sa Senado. Kami dito, ang trabaho namin dito is determination of probable cause lamang. So, malalaman po natin yan kung totoo o hindi. Yung mga pinagsasabi niya, pagdating po sa Senado, once siya po ay kinross-examine na.
Chair Chu, sir, kapatid nung... Sir, hi. Chair, kapatid nung issue ng maanumalyang paggamit ng pondo ng OVP at DepEd, tapos yung mga findings ng ibang ahensya. Kanina, pinresenta rin ng NBI yung findings nila na yung mga acknowledgement receipts na unang natisod ng inyong komite. At nakitang meron ngang medyo pagkaka-similarity dun sa mga handwriting. And the NBI confirming that earlier. Gaano po kabigat yun na isa rin probably, sir, na pwedeng ebidensya? And does it put credibility rin, sir, for your committee na unang nakatisod ng findings na yun way back 2024?
Yung mga nagdetermine ng handwriting, mga handwriting expert to eh. So, sa mga korte, yung mga kanilang mga opinion ay napakahalaga. Kaya mabibigat po yung mga salaysay na bibitawan po nila.
Sir, anong reaction or interpretation mo lang na may parehong handwriting yung magkakaibang pangalan pero pareho ng pagkakasulat kamay tapos hindi nag-i-exist yung mga tao na yun according to PSA? What do you get from that, sir?
So makikita natin yung pattern. So maaaring isang tao lamang ang mga pumirma, iba-ibang pangalan o iba-ibang penmanship ang ginamit, pero yung stroke, ay madedetermine mo na iisang tao lang ang gumawa.
Habulin niyo po ba, sir, halimbawa na mauwi talaga to sa trial by Senate, nahanapin yung mga tao na yun, maipresenta, at makita to the end point na hindi talaga sila nag-exist?
I think yung certification ng PSA enough na, sufficient na para masabi na hindi nag-exist. Now, yung burden of proof na ito sila ay nag-exist, nasa respondent.
Hello po. Today po ba masasabi natin na natapos na po natin exhaustively yun pong clarificatory questions on alleged misuse of confidential funds?
Yes. At least for those witnesses which subpoena we have issued already, no? As a matter of fact, tinanong tayo if we will be requiring Attorney Camora to come back for the next hearing. And we said no, because she answered already ample amount of clarificatory questions. What is only needed for her to do is to submit the official copy of the decision of commission proper as well as the notices of disallowance. We intend to focus for the next hearing on the allegations of unexplained wealth, and that is why the Ombudsman, the SEC, and the BIR were not asked in our today's hearing. So these three agencies, along with Senator Trillanes, along with the AMLA, will be the one to be asked for purposes of clarificatory hearing this April 22, 2026.
I asked po kasi, will there still be a possibility for Ramil Madriaga to be subpoenaed by the House Justice Committee? Because sa supplemental affidavit ni Madriaga, meron po dong portion on destabilization against the administration of PBBM. And meron din pong allegations against the Vice President in relation to that. So, will there be a chance for him to face or to be subpoenaed again by the House Justice Committee?
We will hear from the majority of the members if there's a need to call again Ramil Madriaga to our proceeding. No? Depende yun sa majority ng justice members. Because, again, let us be reminded, the standard that is being observed here is only the existence of probable cause. So, it will depend on the justice members really, whether there is need to ask Madriaga to appear again before the Justice Committee.
Susugan ko lang po yung question ni Ate Lance po from Newswatch Plus. You've mentioned po na unexplained wealth and threats yung magiging focus ng next hearing. But in the scenario na the Vice President suddenly appears in the April 2022 hearing and she chooses to respond to the allegations concerning confidential funds, will that still be accommodated by the committee?
We will receive the evidence which she will present, regardless of whether it pertains to the confidential fund, the allegations of unexplained wealth or threat, because the rule provides that at any stage of that proceeding, she is entitled to present her evidence.
Ma'am, clarify ko lang po yung sa subpoena on AMLAC records, bank records. Initially po, Attorney Mans Carpio, the Vice President, and immediate family, yung gusto ni Congressman Jokno. Ano po yung wisdom? Bakit na-limit na lang po kay Attorney Mans and Vice President Sara?
Ako, sir. Well, syempre, we would want to be able to limit lang din po, no? Yung pong mga information na makukuha po natin from the AMLAC, no? Kasi syempre, ano ho yun talaga, very coercive yung power po nung inquiry. It's not bank records, it's just banking transactions which we can get from the MLC, no? And syempre, yung relevancy ho talaga kailangan ma-establish, eh. No? So, ano yung relevancy nun? Kailangan kay Mr. Mans Carpio lang and kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Kasi yan ho yung ibabangga ho natin dun sa net worth ho niya. No? And yung net worth can be built from the assets of both, of Attorney Mans and Vice Presidenta Sara Duterte. So tingin ko, hindi na kailangan isama pa yung labas pa sa kanila pong dalawa.
Because, kasi nabanggit kasi ni Madriaga yung about accounts of former President Duterte, but it wasn't included in the complaint. Would that be right?
No, no,
Kaya
no.
hindi na kailangan for the
No, it's whether the former president was mentioned, it is irrelevant to what we would want to inquire into. The reason why it's limited to Manscarpio and Vice President Duterte is simply because when you build the forensics analysis there, it should only be limited to them both. Kasi the net worth in the SALN should be based only on the wealth of these two parties.
Last two questions on my end. Kung kasi, of course, ito, lumalabas ito sa social media, yung claim ni Madriaga na he knows the Vice President because close daw siya, nagbigay siya ng happy birthday and all. But the supporters here are saying na kahit naman sino pwedeng magbigay ng happy birthday message magbigay ng happy birthday message si Vice President Sara Duterte, even the closest supporters or even those who don't know the Vice President from ADAM, pwedeng ng happy birthday. Hindi ba hindi ba medyo nung claim na kilala niya si Vice President Sara Duterte, where so many people and even the parallel groups of the Vice President know her by name?
That is the job of the lawyer of the Vice President sa cross-examine yung credibility ni Madriaga. So ulitin ko, ang trabaho po namin is just probable cause, determination of probable cause. Yung credibility ni Madriaga as to the relationship of Madriaga to the Vice President at yung kung ano mga sinasabi niya, matetest po yan comes trial proper sa Senado.
Last question. Napansin ko po ito kanina during the questions kanina na some of the congressmen have been asking, sabi nga, probing questions. Pero Chair Jinky, you prevented them from doing these probing questions na dapat clarificatory questions lang, nakadikit lang sa affidavit or dun sa mga testimony or dun sa mga transcripts. Is this something related doon ba sa final na kaso ng kampo ni Vice President sa Duterte Supreme Court na iniiwas kayo na gawin siyang parang more into, parang naghahabol kayo ng evidence? Pero ang inanyo niyo lang is doon lang kayo nakatutok doon sa mga questions na nakadikit doon sa affidavit. Bakit ganun ngayon yung ano?
Ulitin ko po, probable cause lang. So yung probing question, mas malalim na tanong na sa trial proper po ulit yun. Kaya dito po, ang tanong lang dapat within the bounds, doon lang sa affidavit. Kaya kung makikita mo, kahit naman po kami, kahit si Congressman Terry nagtatanong, napipigil din. Dahil yun po talaga yung rules. Probing question ay hindi po pwede dahil ito ay determination of probable cause lamang.
Not related doon sa mga issue na na-file na sa Supreme Court. Kasi para lang ma-clarify na baka kasi inisip ng iba na kaya kayo nag-iiwas sa mga probing questions ay dahil baka magamit as evidence sa case na final sa Supreme Court.
Red, hindi ganun.
Sinusunod lang po namin yung rules through the letter.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat.